Excellency, I believe all in this room believe that the future is urban. And Kenya has already embarked on the journey for adequate housing. So let us now trail our eyes on the screen as we see snippets of this journey.
Africa is not waiting. Africa is building. It is rising fast, bold, and undeniable.
This project before us here is the single largest housing intervention in Kenya's history. And I am so proud.
Empowerment at a leading
Defining moment. One question remains. Who will shape it?
And the question remains, who will shape it? We'll now hear from His Excellency himself, but allow me to introduce our moderator for this session, Vivian Onano. She's an award-winning social entrepreneur and founder and director at a Leading Light initiative. Vivian continues to play a leading role in redefining Africa's growth and development through the direct engagement and inclusion of women and youth. Your Excellency, Vivian is a respected speaker who often speaks on global education, gender equality, youth empowerment, and international development. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we put our hands together as I welcome our moderator to now come and take up the next session. Karibu sana, Vivian. A round of applause, please. Welcome. Is she looking great? Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mike Gitonga, for the generous introduction. Your Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, fellow youth leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. I need to feel the energy in the room. It is my honor to serve as the moderator for this high-level fireside conversation with His Excellency the President of Kenya, where we will delve into key lessons, best practices, and critical challenges in delivering adequate housing for all. Africa is undergoing the fastest urbanization globally, with urban populations growing at over 3.5% annually. By 2050, our urban population will double, from approximately 700 million to over 1.4 to 1.5 billion people. Nearly 65% of Africans will live in cities. We are not simply urbanizing. We are building the future economic engine of this continent. And yet, today, over 56% of urban Africans live in informal settlements. Cities already generate more than 75% of national income, yet remain underfinanced and underplanned. This is not just a housing deficit. It is a systems challenge. Land, finance, governance, and ultimately delivery. Closing Africa's infrastructure gap alone requires $130 to $170 billion annually, while global systems hold over $400 trillion in capital, highlighting a fundamental mismatch between need and capital allocation. Housing is one of the most powerful economic multipliers we have. Every dollar invested can generate up to $2.5 in economic activity, contribute up to 5.8% of GDP, and create up to 5 jobs per unit. So the question is simple. What will it take to deliver at scale? And who will take that responsibility? To respond to these critical questions, I would like to welcome to the stage a leader who has made affordable housing for all his national priority, has risked his political capital to ensure that it is not just an agenda on the manifesto, but a reality for millions of Kenyans. He is a powerful continental voice. And recently, last year at the United Nations General Assembly, he was recognized by the United Nations as a global champion for affordable housing for all. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for His Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, as he comes to the stage. Another big round of applause for His Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency. Vivian Onano. Thank you, Your Excellency. Oh, you may be seated. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, for joining us today. Mr. President, our session is really designed as a conversation, weaving together leadership and delivery, financing realities, global systems, and continental commitments. So without further ado, I'll dive into my first question. Africa's urban population is growing faster than infrastructure delivery, with cities expanding at over 3.5% annually. Under your leadership, Kenya has positioned housing at the center of its development agenda, recognizing as both a social and economic priority. In the next 2 to 3 months, your administration will have completed over 273,000 housing units, with another 500,000 planned for development, with over 640,000 direct jobs created. This is Africa's largest affordable housing program. Mr. President, this is bold leadership, and we would like to understand how you made this happen. What did it take to move housing from political commitments to a fully functioning economic system that delivers at scale? And what are some of the bottlenecks that you have had to intervene on to ensure affordable housing remains a national priority, Mr. President?
Thank you very much, Vivian, and welcome colleagues and friends from across our continent to Kenya. The conversation that you want to engage me in is a conversation that is very close to my heart. Affordable housing is not just about houses. It's about people. It's about dignity. It's about jobs. It's about careers. It is about business and much more. And you have asked me a fundamental question that how did we move this from manifesto, from documents, from ideas into reality? And I have only one answer. It takes leadership. That's it. And we have had this in our plans as a country in many administrations. We've had it in many manifestos. We've designed how it can be done. But until you find the leadership that has the courage to translate it into reality, it will remain aspiration, it will remain talk, it will remain documents, it will remain campaign promises. And one more thing, you cannot undertake such a fundamental and consequential undertaking if you are focusing on the next election. It has to take a longer term focus in the next generation. That's what it takes. If you focus in the next election, you will not do it because it is difficult. It requires heavy political capital. It requires mobilizing resources, how to finance it. And that is why today, as I sit here, with 270,000 houses being built across the breadth of Kenya, in every large township in the Republic of Kenya, we have 200 active sites in every part of the Republic of Kenya. Yesterday, I was in one of our counties in Olkalau. The affordable housing in Olkalau is ready. In fact, we're going to hand over the keys. CS Alice Wahome has been with me. She has taken me to every place in Kenya because of affordable housing. So let me just say this, that affordable housing will happen if you have the ultimate political leadership. It cannot be done at the ministry.
Yeah.
It cannot be done at another level. It has to take the political leadership at the highest level to drive it. Number two, you have to find ways of mobilizing resources. In Kenya, we decided that we are going to mobilize resources locally. The houses we have built in Kenya, maybe ministers sitting here, and I want to say this is a very important forum. We have close to 40 countries represented here at ministerial level, because housing is such an important topic for any government, because the world is urbanizing. You've just given us the statistics. We have 700 million people today in our continent living in urban settlements. For us in Kenya, we have 7 million people living in informal settlements. We have 1,140 odd informal settlements around the country. And in fact, strangely, a few years ago in Kenya, when visitors used to come to Kenya, I don't know how this happened, that we used to be proud of, okay, take this visitor to go and see the largest slum in our region. You know? So you take your visitor to go and see Kibera, the largest slum in our region, to go and see squalor and poverty and filth, and you know, which is not the right thing to do. Not to deny that this exists. Yes, it does. But somebody has to do something about it. Today, I can proudly say, when these ministers leave these rooms, they will be taken to see how we are transforming those informal settlements into decent living houses for the people of Kenya. And the houses we have built, we have not borrowed money from the World Bank. We have not borrowed money from anywhere. We built these houses using our own resources. I bet you, today we have signed $4 billion of housing contracts. That is an equivalent of 650 billion Kenya shillings. If I were to look for $4 billion from wherever, it would take me maybe 10 years of going to this town and the other town and seeing this person and the other person and signing this paper and signing another one. So I decided that we are going to have a conversation with the people of Kenya. And difficult conversation, that we have a situation, we need to fix it. And as was described by the governor of Nairobi, it wasn't an easy conversation, because change has has a price. Unfortunately, status quo has also a price. And always the price of change is lower than the price of status quo, ultimately. So we had a conversation, difficult, and I must thank our policymakers. When I went to the people of Kenya, I promised that we were going to undertake housing. And we were going to undertake housing because of 4 reasons. I explained myself to the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya trusted me with their vote. When I came to office, I asked my team that we had been elected with, that now it's time to implement what we promised the people of Kenya. And many members of parliament who are my friends told me, Mr. President, we cannot do this. This is difficult. This housing levy is difficult. But I told them, so are you telling me that we told the people of Kenya what we had no intention? In fact, I remember asking some of them who are my friends, I told them, when you had me on the platform telling the people of Kenya, we are going to build houses, their children are going to get jobs, we're going to move them away from slums, what was going on in your mind? How did you think that we are going to do this? And I want to thank our parliamentary group that when I explained to them that this was not something we are going to bargain with, they agreed with me. They passed the necessary legislation. We went through difficult times, but today we can proudly say as a people and as a nation that we are doing some of the most consequential things. And this is very emotional. Why? You haven't seen the kind of impact that this has on real people. When I went to move the first batch of people who are living in a slum, right here in Nairobi called Mukuru, a place where there is no toilet, a place where there is no road, there is no water, there is no electricity. For you to use the toilet, you have to pay. For them to move from that state to 10th floor of a building that has water, that has piped gas, that has electricity, that has a lift, that has a playground, that has a school, that has a hospital, that has street lighting. You don't know the kind of impact you make to those kind of people. So, this is not just about houses. As I told you, it's about people's careers. In January this year, we brought on board about 6,000 interns. You know, apart from 600,000 people working, who were not working 3 years ago, architects, engineers, plumbers, quantity surveyors, carpenters, a whole array, realtors, painters, people who have gone to college. We're talking about graduates from our technical training colleges, certificate, people who have a certificate in electrical, in being an electrician, people who have degrees in architecture. These are real people with real careers to pursue. Today they have a chance to pursue their careers. Today, because of the housing program, we have industries that have come on stream. We have people who have been Juakali artisans, small enterprises, today they are transitioning from being ad hoc. You know, you make one window today, you make another window